Recording on, stream on, enlarge
Where the
and
form,
on.
where the format at?
Where the format at? It's right here, baby.
I mean what was that thing?
The
Thing they
what?
sent me.
The what?
The bullet point.
But you should
The
actually put this on subtitration. It'd be so nice.
No,
let's
that's what
not
I'm
do that.
saying. I was gonna do it.
Then you do it.
Hold on, I'm
this the outline.
fine.
Oh, we're gonna ignore that.
I'm lagging. I can't do it.
I'm ready to get flamed by these people. I
I'm
don't
ready to
even know.
get roasted by subtle Asian dating.
Share in the group.
Oh my god. I swear to God, if you actually do it.
Hey man, no balls. Is this share in the group as in I can choose which group? Nah, forget it. Doesn't matter. It's too late. Alright, we're already starting. Alright, cool. What is up, everyone? Good evening.
Hello.
Oh,
Evening.
hello.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Alright, so welcome back to the Neon Podcast. Hello, everyone. We're now sponsored by Discord, no longer on Skype. Our Skype sponsorship is now over. This is actually so much better. Unlike,
Thank God though. Thank God that sponsorship is over.
I know. Alright, cool. So, today is February 13th, 2019. First podcast 2019. And I think this is the first actual content I'm making this year as well.
'Cause it's totally Valentine's Day.
Of course. So,
Close enough. It's close enough.
hold on, let me just readjust this real quick. Alright, so. My name is Neon Penalvo. Welcome back. Like I said, once again, I'm joined by some lovely people this evening. And
Damn, he called me lovely.
of course. So here we are in episode 19, Subtle Neon Dating. So before we get into the rest of the podcast, I want everyone to introduce themselves. Say your name. What was our icebreaker again? I forgot to write it.
Major?
This wasn't anything.
I swear I wrote it down somewhere, but I can't remember.
Flowers
Bruh.
or chocolate?
There you go. That's what it was.
Flowers or chocolate?
Alright, so, icebreaker. Which would you rather give or receive? Or mostly receive. So, on Valentine's Day, would you have it rather be flowers or chocolate? And you can't choose a third option. It has to be one of the two. So, also, just before we continue, also, Mark, hi. Josh, hi. Errol, hi. What's up?
Real high.
Alright, cool. So, come on, guys. Flowers or chocolate? Let's start off in the top left of my screen. The guy with the glasses.
Hey, I'm Camp. I'm supposed to be the constant co-host. I wasn't supposed to be here today, but hello. I'd rather give flowers and I'd rather receive chocolates.
Very nice, very
Wow.
nies.
You want me to say why or what?
Alright.
You want me to
No,
say
I don't really care. I mean, if you want to say why, if you
No.
have a reason, you can. If you don't, I don't really care.
Because I don't want to take care of the flowers and
Low maintenance.
don't want to
I
take care
love
of the flowers.
chocolate.
Yeah, taking care of chocolate is really easy. You just eat it. So.
What the fuck?
Yeah, as long as you eat it, you know it won't go bad. Alright,
The
awesome.
Flowers look good.
You're right, you're right. So, moving on to the person right above on my screen, the one with the long hair and the onesie.
Hey, don't judge my onesie. It's
I
cold.
didn't judge your onesie. I just said the one with the onesie.
Why you gotta attack her,
Why
bro?
got-
That's fucked
I
up.
feel attacked. You need to apologize.
All of you are getting kicked off my podcast, except Kemp.
Imagine attacking people in 2019.
Alright, go ahead. Your name and
Um,
the icebreaker, please.
My name is Jennifer. I don't know. I think I'd rather receive chocolate. I'd rather give chocolate. I like chocolate, and flowers die. So.
Very nice, very nice. And last, but definitely not least, the man to my left, wearing the other headset. Please introduce
Oh.
yourself.
Oh, that's me. Alright. I'm Neil. I think I'd rather give flowers and then chocolate, cause like give flowers on Valentine's Day, and then when chocolates go discounted the next day, like you buy that shit up, and then you give it.
That's smart. That's smart.
Big brain.
I like how everyone says they want to get chocolate, but they don't want to give it. Like,
No, I said
like,
I wanted to give it.
no, I know, but the
would
next
give
day.
it.
But like initially, all of you are like, I
Oh.
would give flowers because they look nice, but I want to receive chocolate. So theoretically, you guys are your own worst gift givers. Theoretically.
But you know, discounted chocolates, like it's well, it's not free, but you know.
it's on very good value, basically.
Yeah, basically.
All right, awesome. So, thank you for your answers, and some people in the chat. Hi, Kat. Hello, friends. Kat says get baby breath flowers because they are literal. They are literal timeless. I think she means literally.
Literally.
Literally. So there's Josh called us basic, but he's kidding. All right, so since we're
basic, I only had two choices.
all right, so we're gonna just go ahead and jump into this podcast right away. Let's see. First topic, subtle Asian dating, dude. You can't date if you can't meet someone. So how do you shoot your shot? It's 2019. That's what we call it nowadays. You shoot your shot. It doesn't matter if it goes in. It depends how you shoot it.
Wow. Goes in, huh?
Hey, what was Michael Jordan's quote? You miss all the shots you don't take, something like that. I don't know.
100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, something like that. It's not important what the phrase is. That's not the point. But the point is, how do you shoot your shot? Anybody, go. Anybody, hit me with how you shoot your shot. Or or how you seen someone else shoot their shot, and whether it was
How do you shoot?
how to what?
You don't shoot your shot. That's how you shoot your shot.
Interesting
That's
attempt.
not shooting a shot though.
That's not
You
shooting a
just- you
shot.
just sit back and you wait.
That's shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah,
So you're shooting something.
that's like you take the gun and you like throw it at yourself.
All right. So, anybody? Jen?
I don't know.
Cam?
I feel like
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Neil.
I don't know. It's really weird because it's like you have that whole offline versus online thing. Where it's like I don't know how to shoot. Yeah, I just don't know how to shoot my shot in general.
Does my stream
Like,
go down?
I no, I don't know. It's like you just bring it up, I guess. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know if my stream went down or not.
Oh no, it's it. Like to be honest, I'm kind of one of those people where it's like I like it when people are like really blunt about how they feel, and I don't like it when like people beat around the bush. So I guess for me, shooting my shot would just be like, "Hey, I think you're actually pretty interesting. Let's get to know each other," something like that.
All right. Cool. I respect that. I respect that a lot. But like, so that's if you have like an initial like interaction with someone, right? So basically, like you've talked just a little bit or something, or would you use that on like a stranger?
I don't know if it would work with a stranger because it's like
How do you know
I
if I'm
abs-
interesting?
I absolutely have no idea who you are. So if I were to say that, that'd make me sound really fucking creepy.
Nice. Cool. All right, Kemp or Jen, either of you wanted to answer the question?
I think you always shoot your shot in person, but there's a thing called loading your shot. You can do that over
Ooh.
social media.
Loading your shot. Interesting. Would you
Oh,
would you
so
care
you
to,
mean, like-
would you like to explain?
Bro, it's just talking to them.
Wouldn't that be considered like shooting your shot then?
No,
Oh, I meant, like-
Yeah, but is
Oh, wait,
shooting
no,
your
no.
shot like you want to go out, or is shooting your shot like
Oh, okay,
hi?
never mind.
yeah, that's what I'm considering shooting your shot. Like actually, like telling them
Maybe I'm dumb.
you wanna start something.
Okay.
Right, you're
Okay.
right.
Thank you for those watching the stream telling me if it was good, if the stream was good or not. I appreciate it. So yeah, I like that. Loading your shot, huh? Kat says, "Hey, I think you're pretty interesting. Can I use you for research?"
Jesus Christ.
anything for research,
Get
right?
anatomy exams.
Oh, whoa,
Wait, so
whoa.
Kemp. So if you load your shot and then shoot your shot and she rejects it and you try again, would that be considered reload?
Yes.
Damn, dude, that's the
Just wanna make
sequel.
that clear.
It's like the sequel to the next movie, Shooting Your Shot, Reloaded. All right, so interesting. So we'll get back to like reloading or rebounding or whatever you want to call it, whatever.
Yeah.
Jen, how do you shoot your shot, or a story of shooting your shot?
She slides in them DMs, goes like, "Hey baby girl, you want some fuck?"
All right, Neil,
Oof.
let's let her go. Let's let her go.
I think generally, like if it's like a starting conversation, I'll just be like, hey, what's up? Like, cause I just like talking to people. If it's like someone I'm interested in, I've shot my shot once, and it was a horrible experience.
Hey, respect though. If you shoot
No,
your
no,
shot,
no.
respect.
Yeah, respect.
Respect. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
So like, it was a couple years ago, and I was talking to this guy, and we had like kind of discussed dating, and like the night before, we basically were like, okay, yeah, we're both interested. We discussed it, and so we saw each other next day at school, and then we were talking, and I like waited for like 2, 3 days, and he hadn't said anything about it, and I was like, okay, so are we a thing? Are we not? It's like one of those like in between, and then finally like we like sat down, and I was like, okay, here, do you want to go with me or not? Like I was straight face. I was like, tell me right now, because I don't want to be in that like weird limbo state of like, okay, maybe we are, maybe we are not. And he just kind of looked at me and went, I don't know, sure.
Thing that
I was like,
Damn, that
I
doesn't
mean,
sound
I wouldn't
promising.
say that's horrible. I think, I think it's just he's just really dense.
no. The thing is, we had talked about it like the weekend before. It was like, do you want to go? It's like, yeah, I think we'd like it would work. It'd be okay. Like we were like, yeah, we should go out. And then he just never
Okay.
asked me out. And I just told him, I was like, you know, you could just ask me out. And I was like, okay,
No,
Jen,
no.
come on,
Okay. Well,
I'll ask
okay.
you out.
All right. So that makes sense. That makes sense. But I think there's just a time and a setting for it. That's just me.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that might be another issue. But yeah, I respect. Hey, Kat, hey, or Josh, you want to just share this to like subtle Asian dating real quick for me? Cause
sounds. It
Oh
sounds like
my
this guy
God.
just didn't want to get put on the spot.
yeah,
I don't want to get put
I
on the
think he
spot.
got what's the word? Emasculated.
Dude, he did tell me that after. He was like, I wanted to ask you out instead. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know.
You,
But I was
Yeah.
I
like,
know. That's why I
you're,
say like I hate it when people beat around the bush. Like I hate being in that limbo state, not knowing what's going on. Like that. Honestly, that's really frustrating.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Okay. So thank you for all your stories. So let me ask you then, is it different shooting your shot over social media and let's say just like dating apps or like even just like DMs in general versus in person? Like
Yes.
is there like a
Yes.
you got two
Yes.
yeses, Kemp? Yeah, I see
No,
you nodding your
just
head.
gonna you're
Nah.
just gonna nod.
I
dude.
mean, like, I want to say yes, but I think like the idea is the same.
Okay, cool. So I know Kemp talked about this on a very distant podcast. I'm pretty sure it was like I don't know if it was a year ago, but
Distant
it
podcast.
was the execution versus the idea versus the execution. So you remember that, right? I'm
I
sure you
remember
remember
this.
that. Yeah. So I think so between the two, what do you think is more important between shooting your shot in person versus online? Do you think the idea is more important in person? Like, how do I rephrase this? How do I is having the execution better in person or better over the internet? And then same thing with like having the idea. Is it better in person or is it better over the internet? So it's like technically two different questions. Like which is suited better for which situation?
I think you need very good execution for both scenarios.
Okay, that's fair. Why? I mean, obviously not just why, but like care to
I mean,
explain a little more?
I just seen so many people like flop over their words. And it's like whether it be like online or in person, it's just like if you flop your words, you don't execute correctly, your idea is not going to get across.
Okay. Anyone else had to chime in?
I want to say there's like a lot of pros and cons to it. Because if you do it online, it's like sure, like whoever you're shooting your shot towards, like they'll have that time to really think about it. But then at the same time, they're gonna tell all their other friends, and like the whole world will know at that point, and you're just like, God damn it, I wanted this to be like private. But then again, if you do it in person, it's kind of like, because I've heard stories of my friends shooting their shots
Mm-hmm.
in person,
Uh-huh.
and at first she'd be like, yes, but then later on when they're in private, she's like, no, I'm not ready, and I'm just like,
Okay. So
mm,
I can give some input on that one. But okay, continue.
that's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
But I think honestly, I think doing it in person gets gives you more of like a genuine feel for it, like,
I see.
compared to
Uh,
doing it online.
I mean, if you're doing it in person, you definitely your sincerity comes across a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Definitely makes sense. Makes sense. Jen, you have anything to say or add on to that?
I think it depends because I've talked to people online and like we get along fine and dandy, and I've been asked out like straight up online, like we've never met. It's like, do you want to go out? And I'm like, no. Like for me, like I have to meet someone before like we become like we'll like set up dates and whatever like online so that like we meet in person.
Mm.
But I would never date someone I've never met before.
Oh, okay. That
So
makes
I was
sense.
like,
I mean, I think that's also just once it's just like a personal thing. I think that's just like reasonable. You know what
yeah,
I mean? That's just reasonable. Like you haven't physically met the person. You only know what their like online persona is. So that makes sense. That's like yeah.
yeah. So like
Okay.
if like we meet in person and then like you ask me out over on like online, like that's fine. If you ask me out in person, that's fine. But like we have to get past that point of meeting first. So
Okay, okay. Cool, cool. I respect that. I respect that though. So we have some people in the chat. I know Kat a couple minutes ago said reloading, going back to the reloading point. Reloading isn't always good for yourself or the other person because someone gets that someone gets let down one way or the other. And then she also said men who are challenged by the fact that you made the first move aren't men. So wow.
oof.
Strong words coming from the chat right now. And Michelle
Um,
Lamb says, "Aw, Jen, you sounded so soft." And then Eliza also says, "Jen, you got some fans in the chat."
Wow.
Cool, cool, cool. And I'm just gonna read what they have as well. Kat, I think it's important to do it in person because it's online isn't as authentic. Doing it online gives a false confidence barricade. Okay. And then Michelle also saying, in real life is a lot more sincere, but it's a lot scarier since it's more appropriate and you know the feelings are mutual. But online is easier if you don't think the feelings are mutual and you don't want to avoid dealing with the rejection. So, okay. Makes sense.
I,
Very, very
I mean,
valid
I mean,
reasons.
if you don't want to deal with avoiding rejection, I don't think you should be shooting your shot anyway.
Ooh, ooh. Do
Oh,
it to her. Say it to
hold
him,
on,
Kat.
let me snap to that.
Ooh, ooh. Can the people in the back hear that? Louder for the people in the back. Alright, cool. So, just to add on what you guys said, so when how you said like, oh, they're asking public, be like, they'll say yes, but later on they say they might not be ready or they might say no,
Mm,
really soon. I feel like that also comes to the fact that, this is going off pretty old social norms where the guy asks out the girl. So I'm just using that as my standard right now, right? So there are
yes.
times where, you know, girls. I've heard this from a lot of girls as well. So I'm not speaking like from experience. For girls are often pressured because they feel like just because the
Oh
guy
yeah, they
asked them
have.
and they're very sincere in their shot, they'll say yes. And they're like, or they're just too afraid to say no. And I think that happens a good amount of the time. And, sometimes when some people, some girls, and sometimes some guys, when the relationship goes and they're just too scared to, um, to just end it. I think it's just also just that confidence to not in yourself, but also in other people. So,
Agreeable,
yeah.
agreeable.
So I mean, it kind of goes both ways. It's not just the person shooting their shot. It's also the receiver. are you willing to accept the shot?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you go. Um. So with that said, I want to like segue that into the next little question. In your opinion, in your own personal opinion, do you believe that guys and girls have different interpretations of like what a partner is to them?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. Okay. Cool. So it looks like we got some two strong yeses. One of you go first. Jen, you go first since
Wait, what about Camp? Camp, can I get a nod?
I got a nod. Yeah, I gave
Oh,
a
okay, never
strong
mind.
nod.
a strong nod.
God damn. Jen, you go
Um,
first.
I think it's not really like a guy girl thing. It's like
Mhm.
everyone has their own definition
Uh-huh.
of like dating, so it's just more of like a general person thing. I know some people like they'll. I think one of my cousins or something they did a trial for 3 months dating, and like after that it was like, okay, are we really gonna be like exclusive, or like we're done? So I've heard that kind of stuff. I know people that are like, well, we'll just see like whoever, whenever, and until someone actually like makes it concrete and was like says the words like, "Will you be my partner?" Then it's like, okay, then we're together. And so I don't know. For me, I think I don't know if I had a partner, I'd be like I would want to be like exclusive. I wouldn't be that kind of person that's like, okay, we're like we'll go on a date, we'll go on a couple dates. That doesn't mean we're dating. And like if it works out and you actually ask me or I actually ask you and accept, like then we're partners and we're dating and it's exclusive. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting. Neil, do you have
Forgive me if I'm like interpreting this wrong, but it's like some people find partners like just for that, not like
Desires.
explain it. Yeah, for like desires and shit, and like just because they want to have a partner, you know?
so more of like a status symbol, a social status symbol is
Yeah,
more. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But for me, like in my point of view, I don't feel like, well, now I don't think it's more about like, or holy shit, I can't phrase this. I think it's more than that. It's like when I look for a partner,
Mhm.
what I'm looking for is like potential for growth, you know? Um, I'm not saying that like, well, hmm, how do I think
I
about it?
mean, it's your own
But
personal
yeah,
opinion. You're like this is your opinion, so
I know. I mean, like, I just don't know how to phrase it.
Like
'Cause,
you would want something more serious versus like we'll just have like a one night, 2 night.
oh yeah. It's
Make
like
love.
something more serious, like that. Again, that potential for a growth, and I
okay.
want to see like both partners lifting each other up rather than putting each other down. You know?
There you go. You got some support in the chat. Cat saying yes, Neil. Never give up. Never give
The
up.
growing never
Never
stops.
stop growing. I read that all wrong. I'm sorry. I'm also illiterate. Okay. Cool. Thank you, Neil. Kemp. Anything?
um, I'm not really sure how to answer this one, but I interpret it as like how like a girl sees their like significant other, how a guy sees their significant other.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um, I am. I mean, I'm probably wrong.
No. Go ahead.
Um,
Like
Yeah,
I had
no, no, no,
I've
no,
asked
no.
multiple like that was my initial intention, but when I told other people, they had like I have like four different interpretations, so that's totally fine. So go ahead.
no, like I mean, a lot of the girls I've dealt with before, let's say, okay, let's start from like guy point of view. I think like most guys, when they see like a partner, they see like a person they like enjoy spending time with, stuff like that in the beginning. But then like I think like this is why I think I might be wrong. You know, every person's different, but like
Mhm.
for girls like when it starts off, I think like they do like they like to go like more serious about it in the beginning. So like you know, this is from my experience. Like a lot of the girls I've dealt with, it's like you know I like to like what Jen was saying something about like a trial period. I do enjoy like a trial period, but then like a lot of the girls I've dealt with, like they want to start with something serious already. I'm just like,
Mm.
let me dip my feet in first before I put my whole self in the pool.
I see. Respect, respect.
So I mean, like that's how I interpret it. As, like in the different the differences between like the guys and guys, how guys see their partner and the girls see their.
Awesome, awesome. So we also have Kat saying relationships are always going to be complicated. Just as long as you and your partner are on the same page is what matters, to be honest. I
Hear
totally agree
that,
with that.
everybody? Communication matters.
Yeah, I feel like that's what it all comes down to at the end of the day. Well, like even with everyone's different interpretations, you three, the all the other people I asked off podcast before, everyone just comes like as long as it comes down to it at the same day, at the end of the day, I think that's what matters. The reason why I asked this question is because I read an article the other day and it was talking about how growing up we have guys and girls generally have different perceptions of you know what a partner is. So sorry, I'm gonna go off for a little bit. So this is general social norms back in the day, early 2000s, stuff like that. So guys growing up, they grow up with their guy friends, and when they're hanging out with their guy friends, it's that guys don't usually share about their emotions too much about each other. They're like, oh yeah, they're casual talk. They like to joke around. Sometimes they mature. Stuff like that. Sports, right? Being masculine. They don't show their emotions to each other, right? That was the social norm, right? Generally, do you guys agree? Okay, cool,
I do.
cool. I saw the heads nods. I'm like, all right, awesome. So, meanwhile, on the other side, girls grow up with their girlfriend. They're more often seen, slightly more emotional. Girls share their feelings with each other, right? Generally speaking, I'm obviously overgeneralizing it, but they're more open to each other compared to how guys are with their friends. So the reason why I bring up the question is because when guys start opening up to girls, um, you know, that's that's when they start to catch feelings for the girls, right? That's when you catch the feelings because it's like, oh my god, I'm being
Oh,
emotional with this person. I'm like being vulnerable with this person. Yeah, that's why I'm starting to like them. Meanwhile, while girls are growing up, they're already sharing their emotions. If they do that with the guy, they're treating the guy as just another friend. Equal treatment. Meanwhile, since the guy, and then that's why in some cases be like, oh my god, I shared so much like of myself. I'm being vulnerable. Guys consider themselves in the friend zone. And I think that becomes like a perpetual thing that guys just don't understand sometimes, where it's like, people grow up differently. Just because you seeing something one way doesn't mean it's the same for the other party. Um, you know, and I think that was the main reason why I wanted to bring up this question, how people interpret it, especially if it's like sort of gender wise. Obviously, it's 2019. Everyone's had way different experiences by now. Very um, cultured, especially in our like metropolis kind of area, suburban, very diverse. So I mean, what do you guys have to say about what I said?
you said a lot.
I did. That's why I said I was gonna go off for a bit. So
I mean, well, for me, guys, for whatever reason, we just had so many more guys in my grade than girls. So I hung out with guys. Like, all through elementary school, I hung out with guys.
okay,
And then I got to high school, and I was like, I don't want to hang out with girls. Like, I feel like I had that whole, there's so much drama. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to, like, play video games, like, hang out, and just, like, have a fun time.
okay,
And, like, stuff happened where, like, guys started talking, and they felt weird including me in that. So I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna like shuffle on like somewhere else, and I did make some girlfriends, and I guess it's one of those things where like throughout my life, like I've like become more open, and for me, like I find that a lot of guys will talk to me about things they don't normally talk about other people, and then they do build that like, oh, I'm super honest with her, and she's super honest with me, and like I think there's like a little like attraction here.
mhm,
I'm kind of sitting back like, well, I'm open to begin with, and you're not, so I understand where you see that. And so I've sometimes had to say, like, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not interested in you like that. And of course, the guy
mhm.
goes, oh, she just friend zoned me, like she's a horrible person. I'm like,
Yeah, that's not how it
I,
really is. Like she sees
I,
you as an honest
I
friend.
know. I was like, I
Okay.
did friend zone you, but like you were always in the friend zone, you just didn't know it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and that's
That.
where it kind of gets hard. Where, when I'm open with someone, and I do think of them as like a potential interest, and they're open with me, I'm doubting like, okay, are they like this too, and they're just open, or is this actually a thing?
Got it.
So that it just gets more complicated.
Okay, so
I mean, I'm like on the opposite side of you. Like, growing up, I was always surrounded by girls, or like all my friends were girls. Not because I was a player,
Harem.
but more because I was like more comfortable with them. I was like really
got it.
good with like showing emotion, I guess.
Okay, go on.
Yeah, that's all. So it's like every
Oh,
now and then.
I was like, is there a story behind this, or are you just saying this?
Oh no, it's just like
I love girls.
I was always surrounded by girls, so I
Mhm.
learned to really open up and talk about myself a lot
Okay.
and be really open with my emotions. And people like, I think some guys look at me weird. It's like, what the fuck? But it's like, dude, like this is just how I grew up.
Yeah. See.
And, like,
So would
guys
you
are
would
always
you
like,
say that attributed to it? Just like you become more openly emotional with people and stuff like that?
yeah, because I honestly every time I talk to people, I sought some sort of like emotional connection, I guess,
Uh huh.
where it's like both of us can be on that same fucking page, you know.
Got it.
And like guys, like some of my friends in the engineering department, they see me around the campus sometimes. They're like, Neil, you're surrounded by girls and you're still single. And you know what I have to say that, dude? It's not always about like getting a girlfriend. Like
There you go.
I'm perfectly fine with being friends with people,
Okay.
both male and female, but preferably female because that's just what I'm comfortable with.
All right. Kemp. Anything?
I want to go back to that friend zone statement. When someone calls you out for putting them in a friend zone, what people don't understand is that it's okay to be friends.
Ooh.
You shouldn't
Ooh.
you shouldn't shoot down someone just because they don't want to be in like a romantic relationship with you. Okay, it's okay to just be friends. You can as we were talking about earlier, you can just reload and shoot your shot again later. Maybe feelings change. I mean, feelings definitely do change sometimes.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's not always gonna be like that. It's only gonna be stagnant if you make it stagnant.
Awesome.
So yeah.
But with also like shooting your shot again and like reloading, there is a limit.
I mean, yeah, that's
Oh,
true.
of course,
Some
of course.
people...
Oh yeah, you're
No, of
not a
course,
fucking
of course.
revolver.
Alright.
You don't get 6 shots.
No.
Yeah.
I have met people that they'll just keep asking. They're like, I hope you're gonna change your mind. I will wait for you to change your mind. You're like, I'm really not. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not gonna change my mind. They're like, no. Like, I'm gonna ask you again and again and again. Another point, you're just like, okay, it's time to block you. I'm sorry.
It becomes overbearing nuisance kind of thing, right? That at that point, also it's understandable. So, Josh, Roger, I'm gonna have to ask you guys to just talk in another chat. Sorry, in a group chat because the notification is coming up. So we have some people in the chat. Eliza, navigating the dating world has never been more complicated. You can be friends with benefits, just hanging out, going out, being official. Or you can find yourself in the dreaded friend zone. It annoys me though when when guy friends expect me to be interested in simply because I'm single or I'm being nice. Because girls and guys can be friends, not dating. Period.
Okay,
That's
I
what I'm
kind of
saying.
There
want to
you
go
go.
off on that.
Go ahead.
Because as you know, I rock climb a lot. I meet a lot of people and I do that.
Okay.
And I said I'm really comfortable with like girls mostly. So when I try to make friends there around like rock climbing places, they look at me as like, "Oh, is this guy trying to hit on me?" But it's like, no, dude, I just want to be friends, and I want friends.
Oh, so it's like the
share
reverse
same
thing.
content.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get it. Okay. Well,
Like,
okay.
because I made a friend yesterday at the rock climbing gym I was at, and I'm pretty sure when I first started talking to her, she was like, "Is this dude trying to hit on me?" But it's like, no, I want to rock climb, and I want friends on rock climb, and I want people that share the same passion as I do.
Got you.
And it's just like I love having good vibes there. That's all.
Sounds good. Okay, cool. Thank you everyone for your input, especially those in the chat. Really appreciate that. I do want to ask another question to follow up this, but I feel like it's going to open a whole nother can of worms, and I don't know if we're going to have enough time for it.
Do it.
Okay, so So I talked about how generally how guys and girls see each other before a relationship forms, right? So that makes me ask a question. Guys catch the feelings, right? And and in Kemp's case, girls want to start off something serious, or in his case, girls want to start off something serious. So this makes me ask the question: as a guy, what generally as a girl defines a partner? It's like, what is that? What is a line that pushes the guy over from just being a friend to boyfriend material? You know what I mean? Or like even trial period. You know what I mean? Because there's the general preconception that's like that every girl has or every person has their own type, but is there like a general like you or your friends have like, oh yeah, this was the moment that I knew I started liking him. So the reason, so before you guys answer that question, so hold that in the back of your mind. Same thing with people in the chat. Um, we want to call this segment "Red Flags and Gold Flags." I want to coined by Janice Lee. Where you at? She's coining the term gold flags because the other than red flags. Gold flags. What made you start liking the person that you wanted to date, or what makes you want to date that person? Specifically, guys liking girls, because I feel like guys is slightly easier to point out the gold flags, sorta. So I mean, I want to just start off by asking Jen this question.
Oh,
Oh, she on the hot seat.
what I see in guys?
Generally, yeah. I mean,
Uh,
like what you seen guys, or what some of your like other girlfriends also seen like guys. Cat, where's the Ricky Flame right now?
Where's Cat?
Where's Cat?
Um,
So
I think honestly the general stuff, like you have to be nice, you have to be like kind to people. Like it would help if you're smart, but like that's not like a deal breaker if you're not like the brightest person, because I'm not either. Like aside from like all those like super like general, what a nice guy is, what a good guy is. I think for me it like boils down to how well we can talk to each other. Because remember the love languages things
yes,
you told me about,
Oh, yeah.
right?
yeah.
So for me, like it's quality time and words of affirmation. So I really like it when someone kind of spends the time to message me back, or like I like and like you can't respond to me 24/7. Like that's just it's pretty much of a given. But I think if someone takes that extra time to like message me back, or just be like, hey, I'm a little busy like today or like this week, I may not be on as much. I'd be like, that's like thank you for letting me know, because I like to know things, like no matter like how good or how bad they are. That's just kind of who I am. So for me, it's like I want someone that's open, who will like obviously like really communicate with me. And yeah, I don't know. There's not much. I'm pretty open. There's not much else that I'm like, well, like this is. There's definitely some like red flags that I that are not a good thing that I've seen. So yeah.
Like what?
So with the last guy I was talking to, one of the things that I didn't appreciate was he would always try to make me feel guilty in a sense of like it was like, oh, I have all this free time, but you're always so busy, and I'm just gonna like be here waiting. And I'm like enjoy your life, like do something. Don't just always be the one waiting for me. And so it'd make me feel like, oh well, like I feel like I'm neglecting him, but I'm not really neglecting him, because it's like I have my life, and like yes, I want to include you in my life eventually, or like if it gets to that point, but you can't be so clingy. Like there's a border,
Yeah, yeah.
like that's one of like the really big red flags that I'm just like, no, I don't I like straight shooters. Like don't play games with me.
Okay. Okay.
Do that.
Yeah. Okay. Before anyone else goes, I'm just gonna read people in the chat. Kat says roasting is okay. Me and Ricky are literally best friends and lovers. Not gonna lie. I need someone to make me laugh and is easy to talk to. Otherwise, you're probably too boring for me. Sorry. Lol. Michelle, I think you'd have to feel comfortable with them and at some point start looking forward. Oh, looking forward in all caps to spending time with them, and that's how you realize you might have a thing for them. Okay, cool. Um, and Cat, once I start sharing memes, that's a good one. Okay, cool. I mean, Kemper, Neil, what do you guys have anything? Also, thanks, Roger. I'm gonna start putting current topics in the on the site as well. So.
Ooh, look at the chat.
Oh my god. All right, cool. Uh, my sister, best gold flag is when you can go on a group date with your date slash potential significant other with only your group of friends and family, and everything is at peace. Everyone melts well together, even if you have no expectations of feeling so at peace. This is how I knew my husband belongs in my life. Yeah, so that's my sister. She's
There
talking
you
about my
go.
brother-in-law. So obviously we
like
have
it.
someone with like way more life experience than us. So I mean, Neil Kemp, what about you guys? Red flags, gold flags? Go ahead.
Gold flags is honestly like, as I said, it's that potential for growth. Like always striving, like yearning to learn something new. Not being complacent with where you are in life.
Okay.
Like that is like a major gold flag for me. Um, I don't know about I'm terrible with oh my god.
Keep going. Just keep going. Ignore that. Ignore that.
In terms of red flags, I really don't know what to look for because I'm like oblivious as fuck. And I feel like every person is like a new adventure in its own. So you just gotta like tread the water carefully.
Good words. Good words. I like that. You want to talk about red flags now, or do you want to hand it over to Kim?
I don't even know what to say about red flags, so
Don't worry about it.
I only know about gold flags.
I feel like if you haven't experienced them, then I feel like it'll happen when it happens. I think having a preconceived concept in your mind now will hide other red flags. You know what I mean? It's like a pseudo red flag, but it's hiding the real thing in danger. You know what I mean? So that's fine. I totally that's how I see it. Kemp, gold and red flags.
Camp
I
the
like
goal.
that.
Okay,
I like what your sister brought up. Something about like everyone knows together, even if you have no expectations of feeling. Something about expectations is that's a big red flag for me. Is if someone expects too much from me, and that's a big red flag. Like if I had to deliver too much, that I'll feel like the relationship will be like, it'll be weighted towards me, or like weighted towards the other person because they're expecting too much. So yeah, that's a pretty big red flag for me. I mean, just for everyone, like gold flag, it'd be about comfort. I like what Kat brought up. I do want someone that'll also be like a best friend for me. I enjoy time, they're funny, but yeah, stuff like that.
Awesome. Cool. I mean, do you have any like? Okay, so let me also just ask this: does anyone else have any like specific stories that they are okay telling with on the podcast about any of these flags? If not, that's
What
totally
flags?
fine too. But if you are open to it, I'm opening the floor. Jen, you're raising your hand. Go ahead.
Oh.
So
Here we
this
go,
is
brother.
actually.
Here we go. Everyone, buckle your seats, baby.
Oh my god. Okay.
I'm ready for this
It's honestly
ride.
like a super extended story, and all my friends know this story now. So where do I start? Okay, so
At the
there's this
beginning?
guy.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, there's this guy. I was added to a Discord group because I was playing the league with some people, and they're like, "Hey, like join us. We're like, you want to play another couple games? We'll like voice chat." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, that sounds good." We were playing, and then I get like this DM from someone, and they're like, "Hey, like how's it going?" And I look at it, I'm like, "Okay, so you're from the new Discord group. Okay, like I'll talk to you because like I like this group. They're pretty nice people. I don't want to like piss someone off the first day I'm in the group." And so we were talking and it's, I guess, he is never usually very open to people. So like he started opening up to me and we were talking, and it got to a point where he was making like sexual jokes. Like I'm fine with like the oh that's what she said, like whatever, like those like guy jokes. But it got to a point where like you you have those like arbitrary guy jokes, and you have the ones that are like directed towards you.
Oh, so
He
like just
started
stepped
directing
over the
them
line.
towards me, and I was like,
Yikes, brother.
no, like
We gotta go.
We're done. Red flag. We're done.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm out.
Nice red flag.
Well, see, he started directing me, and I was like, please do not do this. It makes me uncomfortable. And he was kind of like, oh, I think it's cute. And I was like, I guess you think it's cute. And like we were at that stage where we were having like a bit of interest in each other. And for me, I was like, okay, I don't think it's cute, and here's why. And I told him why. I was like, for me, like the physical aspect of a relationship comes after I've made that bond with you and after we're dating. Like you just can't skip, you know. And he really just wanted to skip.
For you, that like a certain order of things that go. There's a process, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a process. Like we have to meet. We have to get along. We have to meet. We have to like couple dates, see how it goes, and like then be official, and then official plus, you know.
Official plus.
It sounds like you had a fuck boy in your hand.
I don't know what else to say. So with this guy, it was like we were kind of, I guess you could call it flirting, but he lived somewhere far away. And I told him, he was like, do you want to go out with me? And I was like, no. I was like, sorry, no. Like, you know my rule, like my policy about dating.
Yeah.
I have to meet you. And he was like, well, I can fly to Canada.
What? Damn. we already got some yikes in the chat from the last
story. You gotta go. You gotta get out of there. That is. Oof.
So he had said this, and I was like, please don't. Like, please don't. And I like, we eventually avoided it. And I kept like telling him, like, he kept kind of like asking me to go out and kind of like hinting. And I was like, okay, like, I can see that you're interested. Like, I know, like, you don't have to keep telling me, but my rules still stand. And he kind of like shut me down. He was like, well, your preconceived notions are kind of like getting in the issue of a relationship.
Oh my god.
Okay,
oh my god. I'm so done.
One of my fucking red flags right here.
So like me. Sorry, go for it.
I'm sorry, but one of my red flags is when people fucking invalidate your feelings. Fuck that.
Damn. No. There it is.
Oh my god.
I think I love how that's like the perfect red flag for you, because you know how you said up you grew up like more openly emotional. You're like, nope, if my emotions don't matter, you don't matter.
Basically.
Damn. Damn. So I mean,
you keep going. I'm done.
All right. Let's wrap this up quick. We still got some other stuff to talk about.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So like long story short, he just kept kind of like invalidating, and for me, like I just kind of ignored it, and it got to a point where he tried to send some things, and I was like, no, we're not doing this. Like, I just was like a hard shutdown. I was like, if you send me one more photo, I will block you and never talk to you again.
Damn, he said that.
Like, oh, like, sorry. No, I said that to him because he kept sending me photos.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I mean, you were like, no more eggplant photos, all right? No, we're good. We're good. No more eggplant photos. You know, no more of those purple emojis on my screen.
No. It wasn't even eggplant. It was like he took like a 5-picture progression photo of concealed to not, and as soon as I saw like one, I was like, do not send me them. He sent me 2. I was like, do not send
okay.
me. He sent me 3. And I was like, I will block you. Like, I don't care. I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm like, I'm not actively seeking anyone out really, but like, if it happens, it happens. But I don't want something that's just like super toxic. I want something genuine.
Got it.
And like, I don't need to like be like, oh, like I have a track record of being like 8 guys and whatever. I was like, I just want something genuine.
Got you.
What Janice said, fucking classic red flag, not
respecting your boundaries. There you go.
I love it.
Damn, Janet, damn. All right. I didn't get to read Eliza's gold flag earlier. I don't think I did, right? I did not.
No, you did not.
All right. So going back to gold flags, a gold flag for me is when your significant other loves you for who you are, complete with all your imperfections. They will always treat you with respect, whether it's just the two of you or you're with others. They may not always agree with you, but you always feel respected by it. I agree with Jen, though, that clinginess is a red flag. Sure, some people might find it cute when you want to spend every waking hour with them and talking to them, but in reality, you might be hurting yourself more than you know. Okay, cool. And then Michelle, people who aren't over their ex yet is a definite red flag, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Also a red flag when they're unwilling to reflect on their own actions and how it impacts others, and how to admit when they've done something wrong and take steps towards correcting it in the future. All right, thank you for your input, everyone. I'm very appreciative. Like I said, we got a very active chat today. Thank you.
Michelle knows the rest of my story, so
Okay.
I know exactly what she's talking about. And
All
thank
right.
you, Michelle.
You can go ahead and just like type rest of the story at the end of the podcast.
You want
I feel like
to
we've
put
heard
some
enough.
words there?
I mean, however many words you want to put it on, just because we just gotta move on with the podcast. We got other stuff to
Yeah.
talk about. Out of respect, I appreciate you telling the story, but I think it's right now it's going a little too high. It's escalating a little too quick for me right now. All right, so I didn't talk about my flags before we move on. For me, obviously emotional support, but I think someone for me that's also like a gold flag is just understanding the situation, being able to look at the bigger picture, not be so narrow-minded, so tunnel visioned on some aspect, being too clingy or something like that. I think that's really important because if someone's so tunneled on, like they said, like someone who is so focused on one thing or just on the relationship that they're not looking at themselves or the thing happening around them, I think it's both a double-sided flag, gold and red flag. It's like if you're doing good, gold flag. If you're doing bad, flip it over. It's a red flag. It's because it's the same topic. So there you go. Um, there you go. Um, yeah. So the
Hey, wait, before we move on,
yes, go ahead.
so when people say they want something genuine,
Okay.
like
Camp,
like
I
what
want our love to be real.
like what does that mean? Like, do they want like does that mean, is that like a, do they want something serious, or
So
like
are you
what
asking
does
for
that
like a
mean?
definition right now?
Camp, I'm asking you not to be fake. Is all I'm asking. Like,
I mean, like I'm real to everyone I know,
True.
except
Like-
for when I first meet
like,
you.
do you
but,
not care about me enough to show me how, like, the real you? Like,
I mean, like
yeah.
I
Say,
mean, like, I'm
Don't
gonna
hurt
be
me.
real. I'm gonna be
Camp,
real
stop.
with you in like all stages. But like when someone says like they want something genuine, it's just like, I think it's just like a very general.
Yeah, it's.
Uh,
I know what you're getting at. I think people use it as a blanket term to hide what they really want. I think be like, oh my god, I want someone genuine. I want a real relationship. Then they get into a relationship. This is everything I wanted. Then they realize, nah, that's not genuine yet. And then they see
Yeah.
the real person. And they're like, nah, I don't want this. This person sucks. This person's toxic or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's
Sorry, go ahead.
people romanticize that word. You know what I mean? Like, oh, people romanticize it to a fact where it becomes unhealthy because they have this idea in their head. I want something genuine. I want something like this, and they have this preconceived conception in their head, and then they get into a relationship and it doesn't happen. Both parties suffer. I think that's what happens. But in the case that what you're asking for in terms like of a definition, I think you yourself are a good definition for genuine. Like you're real with whoever you are. Like you're not hiding anything with anyone you're talking to, you meet with. I think
Dude, that's like all the blunt people.
no,
Like,
I mean,
they don't beat around the bush. They don't play that shit. If they don't like you, they don't like you. They tell you.
well, that's true, but I think there's a difference between being blunt and expressing yourself in a healthy manner.
It's
Because
like
being
blunt,
blunt can
there's
be
like being brutally honest.
exactly.
Oh,
It-
okay, yeah.
Because
Okay,
it's
that's
like,
acceptable.
there's obviously different types of blunt and how people, perceive themselves or perceive others as blunt. It's like, hey, I like you, that's being straightforward. Being blunt is like, fucking go out with me. I mean, there's like different levels of it.
Okay.
In the
Maybe
same
not blunt, but like straightforward.
yeah,
I think-
but it's like it's the same concept of like there's different levels of escalation in my opinion with the same thing of genuine. Like if Kemp is giving you 100 every time you see him and like he's your friend, that's genuine right there. But if it's like genuine to the fact that it's like I'll act with you, but I won't tell you like my secrets or something like that. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna tell you something that I'm personally trying to hide or something like that. Like a secret. So I think it's just a matter of like different levels and your own personal like style of handling it because I don't know. That's how I see it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, like when I like meet someone new, I'm kind of like disgustingly nice to them because I don't want to give them like a bad impression.
Hmm.
It's like I won't really like show my real side until like we've like hung out for a bit or like played a few games together or whatever. Like it's probably like when I start roasting you, and then that's when I
That's when
become
you know
real.
it's real.
That's me. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else before I start reading off the chat?
I'll read it for you. So Michelle, just kidding. Let's go.
No? Anyone? Okay, cool. Michelle, also red flag, someone who's completely dependent on you. I'm gonna read these quickly, by the way. Someone who's completely dependent on you for validation and is unable to be independent and function to their full potential by themselves. My sister, red flag, someone who's trying to jump into a relationship but they're not yet at their best. No one should depend on someone new to build them up. I think that's a very valid point, but I think me and Kev talked about this last year, where it's like, someone can help you build you up and grow along the way, but doesn't mean to have, because, you haven't reached your potential yet if they're the real deal. I think we talked about that last year. So I think there's like a slight perspective to that one, but that's what we talked about last time. Michelle, because that means they're not ready for a relationship yet from the self-confidence standpoint, and that means their boundaries are at risk of being overstepped because they don't fully recognize at the stand what they truly deserve. Ooh, also people who immediately drop a friend after being friends with are kind of like iffy because oh my god, this is long. I just clicked on see more. Because I understand that you need
not
time
like it.
away to digest it with the feelings at the same time. If you were friends originally, then you would still be their friend first and foremost. They shouldn't be seeing you, looking at you just as potential and interacting with you, hopes and dating in the future. Otherwise, you were never really friends in the beginning, and that's just building a friendship with the intention that's not good. So yes, take a break from the person, but don't completely cut off ties with them unless there's an actual issue. Janice, because it makes out for the other person to be a villain, not just for you wanting to date you. God forbid men and women value each other as just platonic friends.
Just gonna be
Damn, like
hard to
everyone in the
agree-
chat is
hard to
fucking
agree
popping
with
off, and I'm
Janice.
liking it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I like it. Cool. So, anyone else? I don't even remember the overall topic. I just read the past like 10 minutes of chat.
We were like talking about red gold flags.
Okay.
That was the topic, yeah.
Cool. So, okay. So, we're going to go back to a topic that we talked about. Oh my god, Kat also just wrote a paragraph. I somewhat agree with this. I don't think that people expect each other to be their partner because sometimes they need just a space to heal and have the feelings wanted to feel all their life. But if it can get too painful for them, it sometimes have to do what's best for them in stopping a friendship, and you have to be in the understanding point as their friend. I hope that made sense. Okay. Made sense. Yeah.
I understood that
I
one.
understood it. Okay, so we're gonna dive into a subtopic that we talked about last year, and just briefly talk about it. So we all talked about like all the pre-relationship stuff, right? So what about the actual relationship? So I don't want to spend like too much time on this, but it's like stages of a relationship. Obviously there's the
Oh shit, there's stages? Fuck, this shit's complicated.
exactly.
Oh no. You were saying
So
stages?
yeah, that looks ugly on the. Hold on.
Oh no. Oh, that's ugly.
Okay, good
I
enough.
see.
Okay, so basically, the reason why I ask stages of a relationship is because I don't know. Obviously, this isn't like something super popular anymore, but back in the day, let's say like 10 years ago, right? There was the Wong Fu short, Strangers Again.
Oh no, that one hurt me.
Right?
Holy shit, that made me sad.
See, I feel Jen's smiling because I know she's watched it probably.
I've never watched it.
Never mind. So the only person, Kemp, have you seen it?
Smell that? Smells like
Okay.
bullshit.
So Kemp and
I've seen it.
Neil have seen it. I've seen it. The reason why I said stages, quote unquote, obviously not every relationship. That was more of a movie relationship, but there's the different stages of pre-relationship, getting into a relationship, the honeymoon phase, getting comfortable, and then too comfortable, stuff like that, and it's like people problems start to show up. So I mean, what are your guys' opinions on like stages, or if you experienced it, like your opinion on them in general? So anybody take the floor.
This is why I love the trial period. Um, you know, it's bad to always just like jump into things. It's always better to have a good feel of what the situation is around you before you
Oops.
actually commit to anything.
Uh huh.
So I mean, for everyone it's different. Like, for me it's like I probably have a long ass trial period. I'm like way too picky when it comes to these things, and
So okay, for let me ask you a question then. How long is your trial period, or like what would you say is the length of an average trial period for you?
3 months.
Neil says 3. Or is that your answer? Or are you answering for Kemp?
yeah,
Oh.
to be honest, probably something like that. Yeah.
Oh wow, I speak for the
Yeah,
group. Hey, I'm
Probably,
the spokesperson.
probably something like that. Yeah.
Janice, meta stages,
months.
Lamau. So a few months. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Michelle getting another long paragraph. Considering a new friend.
But let's be real, no one actually has that time.
Okay, if you truly cared for them as a friend and enjoyed their relationship, you shouldn't fully drop them as a friend. Okay, cool. So yeah. Anyone else?
I mean, I think a trial's good. I wish I had a trial with my first boyfriend because it didn't go so well, and I mean, it ended before like 3 months or something like that. So I think a trial period is definitely nice, where you kind of get that I get to know you a little bit more, and you kind of maybe talk about things you wouldn't talk about with other people,
Mm-hmm.
and then you like kind of catch stronger feelings, and then at the point like you would kind of hopefully have an idea if like you're ready to commit to something with this person, or that you're like I kind of want to wait a little bit longer. It depends on how the relationships progress. But I know some people like they'll wait like 6 months before being like, okay, like I want to commit to this person. Other people are like, oh, a month and a half in. It's like,
Okay.
yeah.
Well,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
I think the only time like a trial period it's like, like you don't have like, you don't have to have a trial period. It's probably like when you're young, or like when you're like like a high school sweetheart or whatever, stuff like that. It's like when you have a lot of time to actually like do things.
I see, I see. So I think that goes into what Janice said. She said stages also look different depending on your own stage of life. Like, think about the honeymoon stage for teenagers versus the honeymoon stage for like your mid 20s. And that's why she said
Yes.
meta stages. So I think it depends on your meta, where you are in your life. I think that's actually very important to just point out. I like that. I like that, Janice.
Yeah.
The meta stages of life. um I think, we call it a trial period, right? We're using the term trial period a lot in this podcast. I think when I keep hearing it, I'm like, trial period, yeah, trial period, I get it. And then I went, something just clicked in my head in like the past 5 minutes. My parents, old school, and I like to follow the old school style as well. Like Filipinos, they didn't call it dating, they didn't call it trial period. They called it courting. Yeah?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, right?
Recording.
Yeah, see, now we're calling it a trial period.
Oh, we're gonna go back to
I
courting.
feel like courting is very like I don't know. It is old fashioned, but it's pretty like
It's appropriate.
serious.
Oh,
To me, like courting is more serious than like we're dating. Courting's like kind of like that place between like dating and like potential for marriage of like fiance.
mm, I think,
Um,
I mean, that might be like, I don't know, Camp Neil. So sorry, Jen. Like, I just have to disagree with you on that one, just because for how Filipinos say it and how like, or at least my family and our relatives say it, courting is like you're basically dating and you're almost dating, but you're not official yet. I think that's why I consider it the trial period.
I always saw courting as like as like it's like one person like says that they have a thing for another person, and then they're gonna like make the other person like them.
Oh, so also just Filipino terminology, the MU, the mutual understanding.
Yes.
Oh.
Oh God, oh God.
Oh
Cat
my
says,
God.
Cat says in all caps, Courting is important. It's the real. It's the trial stage of the relationship. It's how you really get to know the person and see if they're really worth your time.
Damn,
Yes.
Kat
See,
is like popping
okay,
off. She
okay.
knows. She's
Okay,
on the shit.
so I think we moved on. So we've kind of blended the concepts of not time trial, trial period.
Time trial.
I'm gonna go down the
You got
Token
3
drift.
months to court me.
So time trial, no, sorry, trial period versus courting. So we have like a sort of blend of definition. So yeah, while we're still on this topic, anyone have anything else in before we move on to like the last couple of things?
I don't even know what the stages of a relationship are, so. Fuck.
Honeymoon. The biggest two are honeymoon
the only
and getting
one I know is the
comfortable.
Phase, it's all.
Those are the two biggest ones. So I mean,
Oh,
anyone
getting
have
comfortable and then the honeymoon phase.
anyone have anything else to add?
Just be real, kids. You know, if you got something to say it.
Nice, nice.
Or forever hold your peace.
Yeah, you hold your peace, and then that's when the peace falls apart.
And that's when the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, when you dip it in milk.
Let's see, Kat. Me and Ricky courted for only a week though, but we clicked it so well it felt like we knew each other for years. Aww.
Oh yeah, me and Aaron have been courting for 6, 7,
Hey,
8 years.
kid,
He
you
still
get
doesn't like
along.
me.
hey, Camp. How long was I courting?
It wasn't courting. It was like love at first sight.
Oh,
Hey,
damn.
that's my boy. That's my guy right there. Personal experience. I don't want to get too much into this. Some people know my story. Trial period. There's a difference. I think, not even to just be outright blunt, but I think there's also just if you're smart enough, if you're not too dense, I think even like the pre trial period, it's like you can see the signs. It's like, is it even worth doing the trial period in the first place? I think there are some people that can see that. I think for me, as I've gotten older, it's more and more obvious whether, in my opinion, it's worth to do that. So yeah, that's just personal experience.
I always thought the pre-trial period was the courting.
Yeah. Josh says, I thought I was your guy. Josh, you are
You
my
know,
guy.
when
You're my
I-
80
when
carry.
I hear that shit, I always think of like when I posted a new profile picture, my mom commented on it, and she was like, "That's my guy," and I'm just like,
Aw.
That's so
like,
cute.
yes, I get it, mom. You love me. Thank you. I love you too. But
Please don't put this on my Facebook. Other people see this.
my guy.
Bye.
My guy. Okay. Cool. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to a slightly more somber kind of topic, but it is very important to address this, especially when we're talking about relationships. And we did talk about it earlier. Rejection and getting over your exes / recovery / rebounding / reloading / slashing. Yeah, I don't
That's a
know
lot
where
of slashing.
I don't know. I don't know where I'm
Very
going with this.
topic.
Slashing their tires. No. But for real though, I think this is very important to address because obviously, in the U.S., divorce happens to more than 50% of all marriage couples. Statistically speaking, and I don't know how it is in other countries. Jen, I don't know if you know the percentage in Canada.
50? I'm guessing like 50. It's
Similar.
definitely
fucking hate
changing with the
Josh.
younger generation.
There you go.
Like there's just they do trial marriages.
There you go. Trial marriages.
I know.
It's a
Okay.
very proper way to put it.
There you go. But I think addressing the negatives, you can't address the positives without addressing the negatives. So I think, just like the Wong Fu short, strangers again, breakups happen. Rejection happens. Things happen. And it might not be the way you want it to be, and it might not be a happy ending to certain stories, but it needs to happen. So anyone want to take this one? Take a go at it.
All right, listen. For getting over your exes, no. All I want to say is that like, shit that happens, always take it as a learning experience so you could grow, okay? Like, you don't want to be sitting on that shit going like, man, I fucking hate everything right now. I'm so fucking miserable. Oh, I love this so much. Like, no, dude, I need you to sit down with yourself, have a talk with yourself, and focus on yourself. So you can fucking
Mm.
move past that shit, you know what I'm saying?
No, no, I know what
Like,
you're
we in
saying.
2019, we in that year of growth and self-development.
There you
Come on,
go.
get your shit together. Let's go.
Nice. Put it in a backpack. Just get your shit together. All right. Kev
Oh, it's more like,
or Jen.
I,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean,
Yeah.
like, I get you're gonna be sad, but like, at some point, you're gonna have to be like, I need to get my life together and I need to move forward with it, you know?
Got
Like,
you.
I don't like being in a place where I'm just stuck.
Got it. Got it. I like that. Mad respect. Mad respect, Neil.
Thank you.
All right. Jen or Kemp, either one of you.
This whole time, I was like talking about like worst relationship breakups. I just like remembering there's like a Reddit joke on r/relationships. It's like whenever someone asks for relationship advice, everyone responds with like, fuck that girl, break up with her, go to the gym. I'm just like, what? That's like, I don't understand. I think like most of it like is for guys.
I think
I
it's
thought it was
just
funny.
like how that works is like, you know how when you exercise, like you get the good, you know, the
No,
good
no, I mean,
juices in your body.
I understand the gym part. It's just like it could be anything. Like go to the
Oh.
gym or like I just thought it was pretty funny. That's
No.
I think it's just like
that was like their one shot advice to anything.
I think it's just like getting your mind off of it.
Yes.
Because like the more you could, I guess, take your mind off it, the less it's gonna destroy you. Because you know when you sit there and
Got it.
overthink about things, it's
Yes.
like
Mm.
holy shit.
Got you.
Yes.
Got you.
But
Got you. Yes.
when you actually, stop thinking about it and you like, yeah, you don't sit on it, like everything starts to flow more smoothly.
Mm.
Yes. That's
Got it.
regarding a breakup though, or like a relationship in general. You should never invest.
Oh yeah, no.
Invest everything into it. You should always have like something that'll like make you happy on the side.
person.
Yeah. Also,
Yeah.
just to add on to that, stop investing after it's over. The market is crashed. Stop investing.
Yes.
Stop investing.
That's like
The bank is
zero
closed,
Bitcoin
stop
and then you're still
depositing.
buying Bitcoin.
Sorry. I had to like, once you said the word invest, I went, yeah, I get it. All right, Jen.
I don't know. My experience with guys, like I didn't really have to get over a breakup the last time I broke up with someone. It was kind of like a feeling of like, oh, you're dead to me now.
Whoa.
You know?
Whoa. That's one way to get over it. Yeah.
Jen
No,
is
no,
the
no,
kind of person
okay.
that burns bridges.
Dude, it's really easy to get over a dead body. You just
there-
take a step.
There's context to this, okay?
Okay.
So
Let's
for my last relationship,
I'm back.
it was not like it was one of those endings where it should have ended earlier, but it didn't. So I kind of I was having like family problems, and it was one of those things where someone was pretty old and they're like kind of getting to the point where they're about to pass away, right? And
Mhm.
so I'm telling my boyfriend like, my family member's in the hospital. I will not have as much time to hang out with you. Like I am like I go to school, I do my like piano, I do like my practicing, whatever. I'll have dinner and then I'll go to the hospital. That's what it was like for like about a week or something like that. And throughout that time, he just kind of went like, "Wow, you don't have time for me, do you?" And I was like, "And we're done." That in my head, I was like,
Yeah. The ultimate red flag.
I like we're done better than you're dead to me.
Yeah, I like that better.
No. It was like those buildup of things of like it was one of those things where like I didn't feel like he understood that I had a lot of family things I had to take care of before my family member passed, and that I knew I would have to take care of after. So I was like, I'm sorry, like we're gonna have to like slow down our relationship because I have to do so many other things right now for my family.
You got your priorities straight, and I fucking respect that, to be
Yeah.
honest. And I wish he could have respected that shit too. Because
It
like
gets
on some days it's gonna be 80-20, maybe 70-30, maybe 50-50. But that's love for you, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just to add on to what both of you said, I think you know this has nothing to do with what Neil said actually, just what Jen said.
I hate you for leaving.
So so it's like there's like we're done, and then after we're done, you're dead to me, right? So that's the next level.
No.
The meta, the meta,
Whoa, is
the
that
meta
like-
stages, the meta stages.
Okay, the my
Sorry, sorry. Go ahead.
okay, my "you're dead to me" moment was my family member passed, and I basically like my parents woke me up in the morning. They're like, "Hey, like you're like this person passed. You're not going to school today, right?" And I was like, "Okay," and I like fell back asleep. It was and I like slept till like 12, like noon or something like that. And they're like, "You're not going to school. Stay home with your brother and like hang out with each other, like take care of each other." And so I had fallen asleep, and I normally start school at like 8:30 for high school, and so then I didn't like wake up till 12, so I just wasn't answering my phone. And I get a text from my boyfriend, and he was kind of like, "Oh no, this wasn't this was past that point." But regardless, this is basically still like a "you're dead to me" point. I had texted him, like he texted me, he was like, "Where are you? You're not at school, like why aren't you here? Like why are you ditching me again?" He like asked all these questions, and I was like, I just simply was texted back like, my family member passed away. I'm not coming to school the next day. He just went, "Okay," and I was like, like
Was this like in high school or like?
this was high school,
Damn.
right?
Okay. Well,
But it was that
Oh,
in
controlling.
combination with the night before, where like it's obviously like super stressful when
It's just-
things like that happen. And so I was on my way to the hospital. I was like, "Oh, I'm on my way to the hospital. Like I'm not gonna be available for the next couple hours because like the hospital's like pretty far away from my house." And he just went, "Okay, have fun." And that was the defining like "you're dead to me" moment.
How
All
the
that
fuck
by
do you
that
say
the
have
next.
fun at a hospital? What the hell is this?
I think he thought I was probably lying about it. Of like, "Oh, I just don't want to spend time with him." So like
Mm.
I remember that day so vividly where I read that text and I just like sat down on my floor and I cried. I was like, how can someone be like that I had this interest in that I thought was a good person just say that to me? Even if
Oh my
I
god,
was
hold
lying,
on. I'm
like
sorry. Can I just like interject real quick?
mm.
That's another red flag. Fucking insecure. Okay, keep going.
I mean, I don't blame him. Like I am insecure sometimes, right? But like just
I
to be that insecure that I would lie about like a family member's death, and this whole thing is like it's a pretty freaking elaborate lie. If like for like 2 weeks I've just continued with this like someone's sick, and then I just was like I just don't want to spend time with you, so I'm gonna kill them. Like
Yeah. Okay.
that was that's your
That
dead.
escalated so quickly.
Okay. I'm gonna have to hold you back from like getting triple triggered right now. I'm gonna once again I've heard the story. You told me the story before, but I'm gonna have to hold you back. Um, just to tone it down a bit. We got some people in the chat. Once again, holy the immaturity and lack of compassion. That's your boy Josh. Um, so we have a couple more minutes left. I know Neil wanted to talk about this, also talking about breakups. So I want to quickly talk about this, like very quickly, about like in a relationship during or before you get into a relationship, shooting your shot, um, while you're in a relationship, and even after if there's a breakup. Um, Insecurities. Neil just talked about it right now. I think it's also, Neil's talking about personal growth pretty much this entire podcast, and I really, really do respect that. And it's just that insecurity is a big part, whether it's a personal issue because of something that happened while you're growing up um, versus I don't know how to explain it, but just like having those insecurities are totally valid, but I feel like to put those insecurities upon another person without, for lack of better words, without their consent is kind of, not a healthy thing. So, I mean, how do you guys want to quickly, like, quick minute, talk about insecurities regarding relationships? Anybody?
I mean, you fix the insecurity by communicating with them, so that they shouldn't be insecure if like unless they're just like that kind of person where it's just like they don't believe whatever But like,
Honest. Oh,
you get over
I thought.
insecurities by like communicating.
Okay.
Honestly, in terms of insecurity, like I wouldn't let my insecurities get the best of me, especially if I don't have like concrete evidence to back that shit up. Cause like, if you let it get to you, that shit is gonna eat you up, and you're gonna think the worst case scenario is like, oh, she's cheating, oh, she's like seeing all these other dudes. Like, no, unless you don't have like concrete evidence, I would not do anything like involving like anything fueled by my insecurity. You know, I don't know if that makes sense.
Got it. No, it makes sense. Makes sense. Don't let it get out of control. It's within your own personal control. You know how to handle it. Just don't. It's like a fire. This is a very bad analogy. I won't say bad analogy. Just a bad analogy in general. You know that Avatar episode where they're trying to learn how to fire vent. You got to control the fire. Don't let it consume you. Don't let it get out of control.
Mhm.
But don't let it die.
Mhm.
I think that's like in my head it makes sense. But yeah, anyone else? Jen, Neil, did you want to expand on that?
Mm, I think the insecurities is a problem. It is like how you deal with them. For me, it's more like I I like to think that people are good, and that like like by me thinking like people are good, it kind of negates my insecurities in the sense of like this person will not be a bad person until proven otherwise.
Oh, I like how you roll. I like that shit. I fuck with that. All right, I really do. I like that's the same uh basic idea that I hold is like everyone's good until they prove it otherwise.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. So it is currently 8:55 on my screen. I have a couple more minutes. I think we talked about a lot today. Very appreciative of all of you three with your inputs and stories, along with the chat. Very woke, as Anthony has pointed out. Very active, very opinionated, and it's very pleasing for me to see. I hope all of you come back again, even though some of you are just cats and Jen's friends who I don't even have on Facebook. um, but at the end of the day, I think you know relationships are an experience, and whether you are a part of one or not, I think it's important to still just have the and knowledge about it and go in with an open mind. Um, that's just my overall arching kind of tips and advice for the end of this. Do you guys have any like simple tips and advice you guys want to give before the end of this? Go ahead.
Communicate, communicate, freaking goddamn communicate.
Okay, have
That's the
fun.
best thing you can do. Like,
Oh my god, and like trust one another, okay? That's a big thing with insecurities. You gotta trust your partner. Okay, that's all.
All right,
That's all I
wait, was
got.
okay, Kemp? B
I
B
think
100.
anyone's like trying to get into a relationship, they should they should just be ready for anything. You should never be
Oh, don't
never
rush
never look at
relationship.
the person like a bad way. If like say you get shot down, you know they have their reasons, and yeah.
Awesome, awesome. With that said, I think for me, um, oh, Josh in the chat. Um, to be honest, that's how I felt when Jen was in Berkeley. His Jen. Trust is a really powerful thing. There you go.
You heard it here, boys.
Yeah. Other than that, I think I don't know. I don't know what else to add that we haven't talked about. I feel like something's gonna pop up after this podcast is over. Um,
What's your advice there?
I mean, like I said,
Yeah, Neuron.
just go in with an open mind. Don't be too narrow-minded in anything, and what Kemp said. Just be yourself. Don't look for genuine. Be genuine. There you go. um,
Oh my god. Louder for the people in the back.
um, That's gonna be my motto for 2019 now. Damn, there we go. I found it in February, guys. Thank you. Um, with that said, I don't have much else to say. I'd really like to thank Kemp, Jen, and Neil for joining me on this tonight's podcast. I can't say when the next podcast will be, but thank you for joining me. For everyone in the chat, thank you so much for being a part of this. It was great. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day tomorrow, whether you're in a relationship or not. You do you.
Hey,
Make someone's day, even
just
if
throw this out.
yeah.
Pornhub Premium is free tomorrow.
Shut the.
Hey.
So, you know,
Bro, dude,
tomorrow.
look, if
Oh,
you can't love someone else, why not love yourself? Come on.
exactly.
You should love yourself before you love someone else.
Oh,
though.
you fucking right. Let's go.
There you go. So with that
This is too much for me.
with that said, try to make someone's day tomorrow. You know, it doesn't have to be in a romantic sense. Make a friend's day, make a family member's day tomorrow. Make that a thing you can do every day. Spread the love. With
Ooh,
that
good
said,
vibes only.
good vibes, good vibes. That was my original motto for the year. Good vibes. But with that said, thank you so much. If you're watching this on YouTube, I don't know when I'm gonna upload it. I've been missing like 5 podcasts before this, anyways. Like, comment, subscribe if you are watching on the stream. Follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/I_am_neon. And yeah, thank you so much once again. I hope you all have a wonderful night. Bye.